Okay, class, so the first thing you're going to do to start this assignment is you're going to take a photograph of yourself, or you're going to have somebody else take a photograph of you. And I want you to be in this kind of a pose, okay? I want your body to be at rest. I want you to be standing contrapposto, which essentially means that you're putting weight on one foot, okay? What that does is it causes the hips to rise up on the leg that you're putting your weight on. So you get this S curve of the body. When you guys, if you guys take any figure drawing, this is one of the first kind of things you're going to talk about. So that's why I'm kind of using this assignment as an intro to that. And I know many of you have interest in, drawing people. And it's also a ultimate kind of challenge when you're drawing. It's drawing people. There's so many things going on we're going to talk about today. So I want you to stand in this kind of a pose. Okay, so weight on one foot. I'm not looking straight at the camera. I'm looking outwards. So like instead of like this, I'm like this. Okay. Once you have your photo, you need to make it black and white. It's going to make it easier to draw to see the light and the shadows. Unfortunately, I'm wearing all black in this, so it's going to make it a little bit more difficult, but that's okay. I can adjust my photo to help me out a little bit. So I'm going to drop the color out. I'm going to maybe darken up some of the darker tones, bring up some of the highlights, mid-tone. I'm going to back it off a little bit so I'm going to leave it about right there. That should be good. Alright, save this. Alright, so I have my photo, black and white, and I want to show you a couple things to look for. It's always a good practice to kind of go through the drawing before you start on the finished, final work. You're doing the preliminary sketches. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to do this digitally so I can show you a couple things that I want you to point out. If you have the means to print out a photo and draw over the top of it, that would be a good thing to do, or work in your sketchbook before you dive into the entire drawing. So I'm going to show you the best I can here on my laptop and on my tablet. What you want to look for. So looking over the entire pose, first thing I want to identify is this right here, which is the top portion of the head, and that size. Next thing I want to look for is right here. This is the side of the face, and I can see where the temple, where that line comes down and hits the temple. That gives me the front of the forehead, side of the head, and work out front of the face. I want to get this line that divides the face in half. Next thing I'm going to look for is the neck. Even though I can only see this part of it, I want to imagine it as a cylinder, because the neck is a cylinder. Find this line, the angle of the shoulders. From there, I'm going to find the top of the torso. And then this line, from where the shoulder is, that gives me the side of the body. Middle of the torso. Go ahead and connect this. And the bottom part of the torso, the shape. Also, there's a side to that and a front. This line right here, because my weight is going on one foot, that's given an angle to my hip. So like I said, this is kind of an S curve. The body is doing this all together. So starts here, comes down. I'm going to look for, I kind of got this curve here from where my leg comes out. I can see this is where my knee is. Connect those two. I'm going to look at my foot. Now see, we can't see this. I'm clothed, right? So like I just have to imagine you know, where some of these things are, like where the ankle is. I want to put that there. Here's the other knee. So the other leg is, you know, the back of the leg, I can't see it because, you know, because the other leg's in front. And here's the other foot. Same thing with the shoulder. I can't see, I can only see just a portion of the arm, but I know the shoulder is right in here. I can also see where the elbow is, and I can make that connection there. Same thing with the wrist. See the wrist? It's just like when we were drawing hands. You're drawing a, you know, a portion of the finger. Like this is like a portion of a finger, and then you see like where the next portion of the finger is and how it bends. Same idea. Like if this was a finger here. Alright, look at where the wrist, how that connects to the arm. Same thing here. I'm going to do the same thing with this arm. So here's this shoulder. Bring that down. So it's all about just finding these, the joints, and finding the direction and the angle of the joints, and then connecting everything together. So if I take this down, if I just take this up, then you get a pretty good outline of the body. And it's doing that kind of, like I said, kind of a minimal kind of S kind of curve to it. So again, finding the shape of the head first. For shape of the head, finding the front of the face, side of the head. This is a crucial angle. This is a crucial angle. These two lines give you the body language. And then finding where all these other points of interest, you know, the elbows, the wrist, the top of the leg, the knees, the ankle. And if you identify all these things first, and you put down all those landmarks and you get all those, the framework in order, then when you go back to add details and shadows, you have a strong foundation on which to build. So before you jump onto your final drawing, you'll want to go through this exercise maybe a couple times. Like I said, your sketchbook. It's going to make the whole drawing much easier to. All right. So maybe I'll just do a quick sketch, just talking about all the things I just talked about. So even in this quick sketch, I can see my body is leaning too far forward, right? Feels like I'm about to lean over. So this is what I'm saying, like it's crucial. Like you gotta warm yourself up. Don't expect you to get that perfect drawing right off the bat. You know, you gotta struggle with it a little bit. It's always a struggle. It's a little better. You know, this is just, like I said, this is just warming up. I'm just warm up sketching, trying to work out the pose. So even if I was doing this on a scrap piece of paper, I'd be doing the same thing. So the more you do this exercise, the stronger you get at it. You know, just drawing the same thing over and over and over. You know, and learning every single step of the way. You know, taking what you learn from one sketch and doing another sketch, and you know, you just get stronger, and you start to realize, like, okay, now I'm starting to understand, like, you know, where this lines up with this elbow, where this knee lines up with this face, the distance between this foot and this foot. You know, you're starting to, like, it's like warming up before you're going to take a long run. You know, you got to stretch first before you take a long long run. Same thing with drawing. And then you kind of get like it's kind of like, you know, the first time you go someplace that's new, you know, if you were asked to go there again, you would probably like, I have a general idea of where the place is at, you know, but you still have to look it up on your Google Maps to figure out how to get there. And then the second time, you know, you might go, I'm going to turn off the Google Maps. I think I can figure out. You might take a wrong turn here and there. But you second guess yourself and you double check and go, oh, I'm going on the right track. Okay, I'm on the right track. And then like the third time you go to that place, you don't even need Google Maps. You just get there. And then the fourth time you can describe in detail every single turn to to explain to somebody else how to get there. That's what I'm talking about when you do exercises like this over and over. It's the same kind of idea. The more you repeat something, the better you get at it. And everything that we're drawing here is the same thing that you guys have drawn before. Cylinders, boxes. You've drawn hands, so you can really just incorporate everything you did with hand drawings and with the portrait drawings to this drawing. And I'm going to show you when I put this on paper how to build the drawing up. But this right here, this is key. If you don't have this, you're going to struggle. So do the sketching beforehand. Okay. All right, class, all set up to draw. Got my laptop over here, got my photo. First thing I want to do is I'm just going to sketch everything out. I want to sketch out the framework of the body. I'm going to translate basically the same exercise that I was doing earlier on my computer to charcoal. I want to make sure that this all fits. So I have a mark here for the toe, mark here for the head. So this is my workspace. I don't want to go off the page. I want you to focus on getting the entire figure onto the paper. I'm just going to work from the photo. I'm working kind of light. I'm going to work a little darker so you can see. Looks pretty good. So now that I have like a little bit of the basic form, I'm starting to shift and move things a little bit. Stepping back, looking at the overall drawing, and just making notes of what I need to shift over and what I need to move around a little bit. I'm still working out the proportions. I'm still working out some of these angles. So that's just how I'm proceeding. Starting out to box out some of the other shapes, like this, the boxiness of the t-shirt. I'm starting to, like I said, starting to reassess everything, and I'm going to keep making, subtle shifts in the angles as I see fit, as I move along. Okay, so I've got everything pretty much blocked out. I'm starting to get a little lost in some of my sketches, my sketch marks. I might knock this down a little bit, just blend it in. And then work back over it again, maybe adding some more value. And start working on, just refining it that another step. Okay, so this time when I go through, I'm going to be looking for more of the harder shadows on my photo. And still trying to get the proportion of the upper half of the body with the lower half of the legs, with the head. I still feel like something's a little off there. Okay? And, you always want to be skeptical of your drawing. The whole during the whole process, really. But you're also still trying to achieve the best that you can do today. So what I'm doing here now is, just because I go a little, you know, as I'm drawing, maybe the drawing's getting away from me, maybe things are going too wide, or maybe I made some parts too big, like maybe the shoulders were too wide, or maybe this is too wide, or I need to narrow it in, or either way. Since we're working with charcoal, you know, I can manipulate this charcoal pretty easily. I can move it around, you know. I can put some of this charcoal on and work it into the paper and gradually go darker. But I can also go in and kind of chisel out areas of the drawing with my eraser. So just like in all the other drawings, just don't forget your eraser is, you know, one of the strongest drawing tools you have.